Order of Operations, Big Ideas Math, Chapter 1, Section 3. Today's learning targets are: I can identify the operations of an expression and explain that a quantity or the parentheses is both a number by itself and two numbers with an operation. And I can evaluate an expression using order of operations. The vocabulary terms we will be going over today are numerical expression, evaluate, and order of operations. A numerical expression is an expression that contains only numbers and operations. For example, the expression 3 times 4 plus 8 divided by 2 is a numerical expression. It only uses numbers and operations. On the other hand, the expression x cubed times 2 minus 3 is not a numerical expression because it uses a variable. Evaluate means to find the value of. So for example, if you were given the problem and it said evaluate 7 times 5 plus 3, you would need to find the value of 7 times 5 plus 3. Okay, let's get into the thick of things. Let's learn about order of operations. The order of operations are a set of rules to solve math problems. The order of operations are important because if two people were solving the same math problem, we would want them to arrive at the same answer. And that's what the order of operations do. They give us directions for how we should solve problems so that it doesn't matter who solves it, we can get the same answer. Oftentimes, people know the order of operations as PEMDAS, or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. And what this is a mnemonic device that helps us remember what the order of operations are. The P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. Okay. The E in PEMDAS stands for exponents, such as 2 to the 4th power. And the reason we have the M and the D together is because what we have to remember is it's multiplication or division depending on which comes first. So we could also say multiply or divide left, I'm going to use the L, to right. We always work math problems left to right, so we're going to look for multiplication or division left to right. And last, the A and the S stand for addition and subtraction, but again, it's whichever one comes first. So we would say add or subtract left to right. And it is very important that we do this as a left to right, because that can change our answer. Just as if we did addition before exponents, it would definitely change our answer. Here's another really great visual for the order of operations that we just went over. It goes completely vertical, but we always remember that multiplication and division would be together. So let's draw a little line around that. Multiplication, division are one, and then addition and subtraction are one together as well. But again, this also demonstrates that we have to do it left to right. First we look for the parentheses, then we look for exponents, then we look for multiplication and division, left to right, and then we look at addition and subtraction, left to right. Together, this all makes up the order of operations. Let's do a couple practice problems so we can see how this works. Our first practice problem is to evaluate 12 minus 2 times 4. So I always like to write the word PEMDAS near where I'm working so that I can remember the order I need to do things in. So first, I'm going to look for parentheses, in which this problem doesn't have any, so that one's done. Then I look for exponents. Do we have any exponents? No, we don't, so I looked for that. Now we have to remember multiplication and division are together. Do we have any multiplication or division? I hope you said multiplication, because we have a multiplication sign right here. So that means we need to do it first. But wait, it's not at the beginning of the problem. This is why we have order of operations. We need to multiply 2 times 4 first, even though it doesn't come first in the problem. So 2 times 4 is 8, so I like to write it right underneath that, and then I'm going to copy down the rest of my problem. I never want to forget something from my problem, and that's why I copy it down right away. Are we all done with multiplication and division? Yeah, so then I can cross that one off. And the last thing we look for is addition or subtraction, in which case the only thing we have left is subtraction. So if I go ahead and do 12 minus 8, I would get 4. Nothing else to do, and that means 4 is the value of 12 minus 2 times 4. Our next practice problem is a little more complicated, and I'm going to show you my work in a different manner than we did for practice problem number 1. This time, instead of writing PEMDAS off to the side, I'm going to write each letter or step as I work through. So the first thing I always look for is parentheses. Do we have parentheses in this problem? We sure do. It's right here. But man, that's 7 plus 2 to the 3rd power inside those parentheses. What do I do first? Do I add, or do I do my exponent? Well, when you go inside parentheses, you're going to do the order of operations all over again. According to the order of operations, do we add first, or do we do exponents first? I hope you said exponents. Exponents comes before addition or subtraction, so we need to do our exponents inside our parentheses first. So 2 to the 3rd power, which I know is the repeated multiplication of 2 times 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. I write it down, and I'm going to copy the rest of my problem to try to help me stay organized. So that was only a little step in my parentheses. I'm not quite done yet. I still need to simplify 7 plus 8. 7 plus 8 is 15, so I'm going to copy it down. Do I still need my parentheses at this point? No, I do not, so I'm just going to leave them, take them out. 15 times 6, and then on the other side we had a division problem. So now, in this line of work, do I have any parentheses? No. How about exponents? Do I have any exponents? I do not. So what comes after parentheses and exponents? Multiplication and division. Do I have any of that? I do. I have one of both. So I'm going to write down my step. I'm going to write it as MD. And then, do you remember the direction we go for this one? Hopefully you said left to right. So normally, or I guess not normally, but since multiplication is first, many students want to look for multiplication first. But we have to go left to right, so we're actually going to do our division first, because starting from the left, that is the operation we run into first. 30 divided by 15 is 2, and then we want to multiply by 6. So, simplified, copied my problem. I'm going to simplify again. 2 times 6 is 12. Do I have any addition or subtraction to end the problem with? Nope. 12 is my final answer. Don't forget, before you go and work on your own, PEMDAS is very important. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, left to right, add or subtract, left to right. As you work through the problems, you do need to show all of your work. But I did it in my head. Well, you still did math in your head, and you will want to write it down. Don't forget to copy the rest of your problem as you solve steps one at a time. This is called staying organized. It helps you in the long run as you can look back at problems and know what you did and what you were thinking. These are just some helpful hints. Please refer to this video again if you need any help.